Hamashiach sitteth on the right hand of the Most High. Set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth. Verse 3. For ye are dead, and your life is hid with Hamashiach in the Most High.
That's right. So pretty much it says seek the things that are above. So we know, of course, the prophecies that the current kingdom and ruling way Babylon is going to be destroyed, right? So we know that we have His word. We have to be like pilgrims passing through. Like the scripture says, for here we have no continuing city. Of course, Howard Shah, he always taught the importance of being wise. But we know that this is not the end all be all. That's why we the spirit of the apostles getting on them other guys, like mainly IUIC, they're trying to get 501c3 charters. They want to basically establish a position in a kingdom that ultimately is going to be destroyed. Now, that's not to say, brothers, because the apostles and the disciples, they had occupations and stuff, but we're supposed to seek that in the kingdom. Basically, so all of our action really is supposed to help us get the kingdom at the end of the day. That's the mind frame that you should be in. It says, set your affections on things above, not on things on the earth. So for that, let's jump to Matthew, the 6th chapter. And start around like 32 or 33, man. 33.
Matthew 6. Don't go every verse 92.
Yeah, if you want to, that's cool. Because I was looking at that too, but that's cool.
Okay. Matthew 6, verse 19 says, Lay not up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and the thieves break through and steal.
That's right, because everything at the end of this day in this world is tainted as well, and everything is foul. You know, even things that people will place value and esteem on, it's tainted at the end of the day. You know, and furthermore, this kingdom is ruled by Satan, man. So anything that you can try to store up on this side is going to come to naught. That's the point being made too. That's why the scriptures talk about the love of money is the root of all evil. Because this kingdom is evil and it's going to be destroyed. So money's a defense. You got to have money to sustain yourself and get certain things, but you're not supposed to be in the spirit and try to pour it up. Because really, that shows that your mind is on this world. You got the same mindset as Esau, like the evil partners that their houses shall continue forever. And we're not supposed to be in their mind frame. We're supposed to be pretty much, we got all our chips in one bucket. This ride of Yahushua, like if it don't pan out, then we through. And that's the mindset you got to have, even though we know that the Lord gonna come through. You know, on His promises, it's just a matter of time. But that's the mindset that you have to operate in, you know, day to day. Go ahead.
But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt.
And what are treasures in heaven, man? You know what I'm saying? This is what we're doing right now. We're laying up treasures in heaven. We're basically, like brothers say sometimes, we're building up that spiritual bank account. You know what I'm saying? Whether you call a brother, he might need some uplifting words of encouragement. Catch a complete hell. A brother may need some money. You know, a brother may need to be picked up. Just certain things that is looked at as charitable in the sight of the Most High. That's how we store up our treasure in heaven. Because the scriptures also says that charity covereth the multitude of sins. So at the end of the day, we hoping that the Lord will show His mercy so we can be saved. So everything that we're doing in this so-called life within this world, of course we got to do things in this world, but ultimately we're trying to do more of those spiritual things that's going to please the Lord. So we can get favor. You know what I'm saying? And in this process, we're dead to this world because the spirit that we coming in, like we lame, you know what I'm saying? We're naive, you know what I'm saying? We're fools. But we see the bigger picture. We're visionaries, man. Because everybody in this world, they have a narcissistic mind. They're only about pleasing what's in the flesh. And we are susceptible to those things too because we're in the flesh. But we trying to get more out of that worldly mindset, being dead to this world, but being alive, placing all of our goodly action into the kingdom. Which, that's hard because we ain't got the kingdom, we going through hell, we in captivity. So that's why these practices have to be in your mind every day. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, renewing the inner man daily. Go ahead.
For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
And that's why you can tell by a man's fruit, like if he a man of the Lord or not. Now, The Lord can throw curveballs because it's his movie. He can do what he want to do. But for the most part, you can tell if a guy he on fire if he not. But it says, "Will you read that part again, Michael Shop?"
Verse 21 says, "For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also."
Right. You always break down your heart is not talking about your physical heart that pump blood. It's talking about your mindset. Like where your treasure is, that's where your heart is gonna be. Whatever you spending your time and put energy to the most, that's probably an indication of what you're really about. You know, at the end of the day, that's what that's talking about. So we want to put more of our lively energy, our time, into spiritual building up the kingdom, basically building up our spiritual bank account. Go ahead.
I'll jump down to 25. Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body, what ye shall put on.
That's right, because the scriptures talk about what the Lord's servants is going to eat. Like our families, people within this world that know that what we're saying is truthful, they're just scared of the unknown. And that's really part of having faith. We always break down what Hebrews the 11th chapter. Faith is the substance of things not seen. Matter of fact, I don't want to jack it up. Somebody get it real quick.
This is Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen.
That's right. So this is a faithless generation. The majority of our people, 2/3, namely, man. In 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, it says, "Let not their incredulity of them, that disbelief shake your faith." And incredulity, when you look in that word, it basically means an inability to believe. So most of our people, even though the things that they hear us saying, starting with the apostles, the elders, the men on down, they know that we're saying it makes sense, it makes the most sense, but they're just scared of deviating away from that comfort zone, man. Namely, our comfort zone is coming through our enemy. You shall be in one of all things to our enemy, and reaching out and grant your faith and believing in the Lord. Trusting that if you do what the Lord says to do, be an obedient service, that you're going to be taken care of at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be taken care of at the end of the day. Because I think in this chapter it goes into the different beasts, fowls of the air. They just move.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the Lord provides for them, so how much more a servant? One that's coming in the spirit of obedience. And that's what we're doing, but we're trying to perfect that way more daily. Go ahead.
You cannot serve. Is not the life more than meat?
Matter of fact, I won't get too. I'll go to the point in 33.
Okay.
Let's get right to the point.
Matthew 6:33. But seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
And that's really the point I wanted to get out of that. It says, "Seek ye the kingdom." Seek ye the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And even I'm not exempt from this concept because we all susceptible to this flesh. It's a constant war between the spirit and flesh. Sometimes I don't come in the spirit of seeking the kingdom first. Right. You just got to be honest with yourself. The scriptures talk about in 2 Corinthians 13th chapter, examine yourself whether you be in the faith. So you got to seek the kingdom. If you seek the kingdom and all the righteousness of the Most High, man, you're going to have way more than you can really consume added unto you. Right. You know? But you really got to have faith and act in that mind frame. You know what I'm saying? That's the point being made, because in the same time, in that process, that's frowned upon this world. You're going to come more and more out of the world as you get further into that mind. That's dying in this world and living in Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. Was it like 32, 33? What's 34 say?
Verse 34. Take therefore no thought for the morrow. For the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself.
That's right. Yeah. Just basically having doubt, worry for the day that you ain't even lived to see yet, right? You know what I'm saying? Just take care. I think one of the brothers, the elder, put up a video onto the words of the day are sufficient for the day. You know what I'm saying? You got to focus on what's on the table. At this point in time, we know that the destruction of Great Babylon is at stake. So we're in the valley of the shadow of death. You just got to make sure that you're coming in the spirit day for day. The end of being renewed daily. Don't look too far ahead, you know. Just staying locked into the spirit of faith and then just building up, you know, in the treasure of heaven. Namely, doing the works of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Preaching, putting up shows, meditate, praying, you know. that's it on that. Let's go back to Colossians, the 3rd chapter. Verse number 3 or 4?
Yeah, we read verse 3. I guess I can continue with verse 4.
Okay.
Colossians chapter 3, verse 4. It says, when Hamashiach, who is our life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in glory.
Because Jake think that we serve like an unmerciful, unfair power. He's not unrighteous to forget our labor and our works and our labor of love. Because even Peter, he asked the Lord in Matthew the 19th chapter, we're forsaken all. Basically, Peter was saying, hey, we were made dead to this current world at that time to live in you. What should we have, therefore, in the regeneration? So we're not just doing what we're doing for nothing, man. Taking L's, having to constantly take a low in this place, man. Turn the other cheek. You really turn the other cheek in every aspect of your life. That's all a part of that outward man dying daily. But in order to gain access and be closer to Yahweh Shah, that man is going to have to die more and more so daily. Because little tendencies of him going to always come out until we say the body here. So you're basically trying to kill off. And it's going to go into it in that chapter 2. But before we go further down, if somebody can get Romans 8 chapter. Start at verse 9. Just like we used to say back in the day with other movies, we kept that little nigga, he'll show up at the party.
Yeah, we
know what I'm saying?
No.
And really, that's what it's about. At the end of the day, we trying to kill off that little nigga. Because he'll just fucking ruin the party, man. You know? Hey, it could be just brothers maybe in the spirit drinking too much or whatever. You know, that little nigga can just pop up, especially in these times. These are what's called trying times. He's getting turned up, there's being more exposure placed on this truth. So it ain't none of us are exempt from reverting back into that little nigga mode. He just gonna pop up and ruin the party. So that's what this thing is all about more and more. Just killing him, just trying to put him, even though it's just so hard, and how Shai is gonna be perfection and put him completely to death, you know, to where we're gonna be perfected in the kingdom. Go ahead.
What verse? Romans 8, you said, right?
9, yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna read all the way through like 17, I guess.
9 and what?
8 or 9.
Romans 8 and verse 9. I think that chapter is like okay.
Chapter 8, verse 9.
It's like I may say it wrong.
Okay, all right. Romans 8:9 says, "But ye are not in the flesh, but in the Spirit. If so be that the Spirit of the Most High dwell in you. Now, if any man have not the Spirit of Hamashiach, he is none of his."
That's right. So we know that we actually in the physical flesh, but we know that this flesh is nothing at the end of the day as well. We really in the spirit. That's why we can see the prophecies already coming to pass. We can really already envision the kingdom in the spirit. We can already feel the victory that Yahweh Shai has already set forth. But everything just has to play out in this flesh. So you can't become a victim to this flesh. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's a constant war that Paul really talked about in Romans 7 chapter, the previous chapter.
I said that was beautiful. Deacon Michael Oliver brought that out. He stressed to the younger brothers, take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He said he was thinking that it was going to be the end 2 years in, and it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? So that also goes into mortifying your members. You know what I'm saying? Not being reckless, not being careless. You know what I'm saying? And that's the coming into Yahweh Shai eliminates those things. You know what I'm saying? You live your life, also you live in your life according to the scriptures in the most wickedest kingdom ever, but you still gotta maintain a good report amongst all men. How is that possible? Constantly being in the spirit. You see what I'm saying? And that's what the priest's going into, man. You know what I'm saying? The Lord didn't bring you into this thing to destroy you. He brought you in this thing to build you up into what's going to be meet for repentance when he comes back. You see what I'm saying?
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right, man. You can just continue to.
Romans chapter 8, verse 10. And if Hamashiach be in you, the body is dead because of sin, but the spirit is life because of righteousness.
That's right. But if Hamashiach, the anointed one, Yahweh Shai is in us, man, this body is dead because of sin. Like, we don't really give a damn about what's going to happen to these bodies, man. That's why we don't fear this devil. You know what I'm saying? Making our bodies a living sacrifice, going out there and preaching his word. Because we fear him that can destroy our body and our soul in hell.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We looking at this thing spiritually, man. This flesh is through. You know? That's why our spirits is really yearning to break out of these bodies too. You know? Go ahead.
Continuing in Romans chapter 8, verse 10, verse 11. But if the spirit of him that raised up Yahushua from the dead dwell in you, he that raised up Hamashiach from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by his spirit that dwelleth in you.
That's right. So the same spirit that raised Yahushua from the dead, it dwells in us also, being followers. It says it also shall quicken your mortal body. So what's the word quicken mean?
Make alive.
To make alive, right? So through the spirit of his word, really, because Yahushua, he represents everything contained in the word. That's what made us alive. You know, that spirit dwells in us. Matter of fact, somebody gave Proverbs 21:16. Just proving how the spirit, that same spirit that the Most High raised Yahushua from the dead, that spirit dwells in us. That's how we're made alive. Even though this flesh is already dead to sin, but our spirit is made alive through this word. But before we receive this word, man, we just complete death, man. Like it talks about in Revelations, 11 and 8, it says, "And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city." It's not talking about like physically dead, but it's talking about spiritually dead. You know? But now we're spiritually alive, and y'all was shocked. Go ahead.
This is Proverbs 21, verse 16. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead.
That's right. But the word, we've been quickened. We've been made alive, man, in the spirit. It's through the spirit of the word, through the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahushua. We've been made alive through the spirit, even though these bodies, hey, we don't suffer loss in this flesh because this flesh is subject to sin. You know?
Creature made subject to that.
Exactly. Not willingly. Yep. Keep going through. Matter of fact, I'm gonna jump around a little bit on this. Go to 17. Matter of fact, read Colossians 3 and verse.
I got Colossians 3.
Read 4 again, and then we'll read 17 and Romans 8.
All right.
Go ahead.
Colossians 3 and 4. When Hamashiach, who is our life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in glory.
Right, so basically being dead to this world, being alive in Yahushua, having to take the Lord in this world, it's going to come with a reward with that, even though it doesn't seem as such at this point in time. Go ahead and read that.
All right, you said Romans 8:17. All right, Romans 8:17. It says, if children, then heirs, heirs of the Most High, and joint heirs with Hamashiach, if so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together.
That's right. It's just backing up what we just read in Colossians 3 and 4. So if we take on the same sufferings as Yahushua, which Yahushua, we know the schematics on that. He took the most brutal beating known to man. You know what I'm saying? And he was perfect. He was blameless, really. But how much us, man, creatures subject to sin, just going completely the hell off? Hey, we gotta go through, but hey, at the same time, as joint heirs, we're gonna be glorified right there with Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? We really get the deal that we don't deserve.
I'm saying, and then you gotta keep in mind that the elect was predestinated.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So before you did any wickedness, you was already chosen. You know what I'm saying? You just had to live out those lifetimes to be that example of whatever your lot was gonna be. You know what I'm saying? So you also gotta have a firm grasp of that in your mind. That's why the scriptures say things like, "Don't let your sins weigh you down." You know, so the scriptures ought to build you up at the end of the day. Right? You know what I'm saying? It shows you your filth and then it cleans it. That's the whole process of getting into these scriptures. You know?
That's absolutely right. That's it on Romans. Let's go back to Colossians 3, 4 or 5. Verse 5.
Okay. This is Colossians chapter 3, verse 5. It says, "Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry."
Right, and these are all things that are within the flesh. Does anybody know what the word mortify means?
To kill, cut off.
That's right.
Correct.
That's right. So that's what we have to do, man, because all of these things are within this flesh, because this flesh is just totally engrafted in just complete sin, which the wages of sin is death.
Mm-hmm.
So we constantly have to try to put to death that little nigga.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He just keeps popping back up. Those tendencies, even though for some brothers who have more experience, you know, they did a job of putting him further away. But as long as we're in this flesh, that tendency is always there. So that's why it's a constant renewal and practice of killing, mortifying your members, man. You know, really not putting yourselves in positions where that tendency can pop out. You know, knowing yourself, having awareness of yourself. If you know, like, you're a person that likes to gamble, and you're just a degenerate gambler, you probably don't need to be in Vegas on fight night or any other night. For that, this is an example. You don't want to put yourself in a situation to bring out the worst in the flesh for you. And every man has to figure that out. You know? Go ahead. And it just talks about all these different things too. You brothers can look those words out. And members is just talking about within your organs, your flesh. You know, things within your flesh. What do they say? You have 5 senses. What? Taste, touch, smell, see, hear. All these different things, man, within your senses, man, that allows you to have a sense of enjoyment, but it also can be at your detriment, causing you to completely go the hell off.
Right.
You know? So that's that battle we have to fight, you know? It's a constant battle. We have to mortify the things within ourselves, which we know ourselves better than anybody. You know the things that drive you one way or the other to where a point where it's going to turn into sin, ultimately.
Because those 5 senses can also feed the flesh.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Because when you see it, what you want to do? You want to touch it.
Mm-hmm.
When you touch it, you want to taste it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? If you hear it, hearing it draws you to it. You know what I'm saying? And then understand it. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people leave out that 6th sense.
Mm-hmm.
That 6th sense is understanding. That's the difference between man and beast. You see? So all those go together. You know what I'm saying? You think it, you see it, you touch it, you taste it, you go the fuck off. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be able to mortify those women, just like the scriptures say. If your eye offend, plug it out. Not take a fork and stick it in your eye and come out with the goods. No. You know what I'm saying? If you know that you got a problem with looking at certain things, you try to put yourself in positions to where those things ain't available to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you need to cut your phone off to stop looking at certain stuff, turn the phone off and pick up the scripture. You know what I'm saying? That's how you mortify your members. You know what I'm saying? You replace your vice with the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? If you got a weakness for women, and you can't stay at the strip club, these scriptures is the only thing that's going to bring you out of the strip club. The scriptures that go into women and the scriptures that go into all those different things. I would say, when do you go to the strip club? To make yourself feel better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you're in a fucked up mood and you end up going to the strip club, you're going to the strip club to make yourself feel better. Only thing that's going to make us feel better is these scriptures, you know what I'm saying? So all you're going to do is if you do end up at the strip club, you're going to go to the strip club, you're going to have a good time, you're going to spend some money and all that, and then you're going to come back home and you're going to still feel like shit because you didn't get your water, you didn't get your bread. That's what I'm saying. You wasn't nourished by the scriptures.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, if you get into the scriptures and all that, and you done handled your business, and you want to go to the strip club, cool. You know what I'm saying? But it's business before pleasure on all aspects of this truth. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not endorsing the strip club, but hey, Jake go. You know what I'm saying? Jake gonna make the Shake Shack. You know what I'm saying? But mortifying those members, you're gonna see yourself going less and less and less. You know what I'm saying? It got to the point that at one point in time, you remember when we was young in this thing, shit, brothers in the strip club, vexed by wickedness. That's what I mean. It was a total disaster. You went there to make yourself feel good, but being that you mortified those members, it didn't work. You know what I'm saying? Jake, go to the strip club and come out more vexed. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. You don't mortify your members with worldly things. You mortify your members with the word.
That's right. And Elder, you made a beautiful point that I just want to land back on. You was talking about we actually do have a 6th sense, which is your pineal gland, your third eye, your spirit. Mm-hmm. And really tapping into that 6th sense, that's what's giving you the ability to mortify your members. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You want to focus on using that 6th sense more than those other 5. Because that can draw you into all manner of sin at the end of the day. You see something, and then instantly it's like a Pandora's box open. Now, the other senses want to activate just so you can get that full pleasure in the flesh.
Yep. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
Yeah.
Shit, damage done, homie. You know what I'm saying? But it's in the Apocrypha. I want to say it's in Wisdom of Solomon, where it going to that going to the five senses and the six. You didn't understand.
I know what you're talking about. Anybody know where that's at?
I can find it.
Chapter 7. Wisdom of Solomon 6 or 7.
All right, Sirach chapter 37 and 27. It says, "My son, prove thy soul in thy life, and see what is evil for it, and give not that unto it." Going into how, if you find out what, like Deacon was talking about earlier, the preacher said you know that something's not good for you, you know what I'm saying, you gotta abstain from it, man. Purposely create your situation to where it's hard for you to access, you know what I'm saying, things that you know is a distraction, you know what I'm saying, and that's going to lead to a habit that eventually that habit gets, you know, that bad habit turns into something that's not a bad habit anymore because you, like the elders going into replacing it with the scriptures. So you find out what's bad for you, and then you give not your soul unto it. Don't go into those things, you know.
And I forgot the scripture, but it says the Lord provide a way for the righteous to escape.
Oh, and First Corinthians 10 and 13.
Get it real quick. Just because you said that. I don't want to.
All right. 1 Corinthians 10 and 13. It says, "There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But the Most High is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it."
That's right, that you may be able to escape. So it may be something that the Lord know that it can draw sin at the end of the day, but the Lord will create a situation where you can just, you know what, you can bounce. You know, if the situation, you got a problem with women or something, whatever the case is, the Lord can always set up a way for you to avoid going into that situation to where you don't go off, you know. So that's the point being made on that.
I have the scripture that the 5 operations of man.
Yeah, let's get that. Yup.
Okay. This is Sirach chapter 17, verse 5. And it says, they received the use of the 5 operations of the Lord, and in the 6th place he imparted them understanding.
Right, and that's like the elder was talking about. That's that 6th sense. In the 6th, that's where it differentiates us from the beast, the actual animals. Because we have the ability, cerebral cortex, to understand, to discern,
Right.
to comprehend.
That's just like if a lion kills a deer, the lion just gonna eat the deer. If we kill a deer, we're gonna skin it, gut it, cook it, clean it. You see what I'm saying? That's that 6th sense. You know, and that 6th sense, having a control of that 6th sense governs your members, which is those other 5 senses that can get you caught up.
It says, they received the use of the 5 operations of the Lord, and in the 6th place he imparted them understanding, and in the 7th speech, an interpreter of connotations thereof. Counsel and the tongue, and eyes, ears, and a heart gave he them to understand.
That's right. So it's even higher levels than that. You know what I'm saying? Because the scriptures also said, I believe, like Proverbs 4 and 7, wisdom is a principal thing, but with all I get understanding. So the ability just to get info, to get data, that's the 6th sense being activated. It goes even to a higher levels. Once you get the experience and the level to actually understand and to apply what's being learned, you know what I'm saying? That puts you on a higher level. Was that it on that?
I guess one more verse. It says, with all he filled them with the knowledge of understanding and showed them good and evil.
That's right, being able to judge at the end of the day. Because judging, it encompasses all of these things, all of these attributes within the 6th sense. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately putting everything together to make a judgment whether something is right or whether it's wrong. You know? Let's go back to Colossians 3, what was it, 5 or 6?
Yeah, I read 5 already.
Go ahead.
All right. Colossians chapter 3, verse 6. "For which things sake the wrath of the Most High cometh on the children of disobedience, in the which ye also walked sometime when ye lived in them."
And that's right. And that's when we was real, like, actual Gentiles, man, before we came into this truth, man. We were walking in complete disobedience. But now we're called into obedience because we know how to judge. We know how to discern from what's right and wrong. And that's why we constantly judging situations in our day for days, you know. Because we see and we know the expectation of what the Lord wants are considered right and wrong. And when we see things ain't tipping up on the right side of the scale, our mind's constantly making judgments. But more so it has to be within our walk of faith, man. You know what I'm saying? Because the scriptures talk about in Samuel that obedience is better than sacrifice. That's why the Lord done away with the sacrifices. And that can go into another lesson for another day. But we know in this flesh, that's why we have grace. We don't go off this, that, and the third, but we still require to be obedient, you know, to the best of your ability. That's why it's a fight. That's why the scripture says contend for the faith. That's why when we read up in verse 5, it says mortify your members. So these are all processes day for day that we're going to try to perfect. You know what I'm saying?
God.
Yeah, real. Yeah, keep yours up.
All right, verse 8, it says, but now ye also put off all these, anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth.
That's right. So let's break down some of these things. So anger. So the scriptures talk about in what Ephesians, be angry, be yet angry, but sin not. So we gonna get upset. Oppression makes the wise man mad. We in complete hell right now, man. We got the damn devil ruling over us, man. Like really, it seems sometimes like, damn Lord, this is a crazy deal. You come with respect. You know, Lord, sometimes you gotta talk to the Lord like, you know, I'm trying to do the best I can, but when you gonna change things around, you know?
That all the voices lay their hand and say, look, Ezra, now, come on. I know you ain't. And then Ezra was like, Lord, I mean, you created the earth for us. What's up? You know what I'm saying? Yahweh shot the Garden of Gethsemane. Hey, we can do this another way. What's up? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So you have those moments. You know what I'm saying? You have those moments. Bro, it's certain things that happen where you just be like, you really have to take yourself out of the situation. Mm-hmm. Take yourself out of the equation to see what's really going on. Because sometimes you just be like, oh, damn. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And you ain't wrong for feeling like that. But like I said, you're going to come respectful. But that's what I'm saying. The Lord wants you. He wants that persistence. The scriptures go into the unfortunate widow. All that applies to us, man. You see? So if you can't get yourself right, if you can't mortify your members, that's what I'm saying. That's the whole point of this thing, man. Is for you to not be who you was when you grabbed a hold of this. You got to be a completely different person. You know?
That's what the next verse is going into, actually. But just going back to that anger, too, is just really talking about we have to learn to rule our spirits. Right. Because we all have to learn through experience that process. Jake, on the highways and the byways, somebody might come up and ask a simple question, but just because we got the knowledge and they can genuinely just not know, oh, you wicked, you know. Mm-hmm. But as you get more seasoned, you know how to deal. You don't let anger overtake you to where it's not profitable, it's not edifying. Right. So these are all parts of just, you know, getting closer to the Lord as well. You know what I'm saying? But it also says wrath, malice, which you know, malice in Spanish malo is bad, just mean evil intent, maliciousness, wickedness, blasphemy, which is pretty much a filthy, wicked lie. You know what I'm saying? We gotta be upright and deal honestly amongst each other. You know, not being niggas, because blasphemy is part of nigga culture, just saying whatever, just talking reckless. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It says filthy communication out of your mouth. And the churches and just simple ass people, they always want to talk about filthy communication, these so-called curse words, which we know that's not what that's talking about. Filthy communication is anything that's outside of the true doctrine of these scriptures. I ain't gonna even just say anything out of these scriptures, because you got guys that quote scriptures, but they not in the right doctrine. Yep. You know, this is meaning teaching the upright doctrine as it pertains to everything that's written in this Bible. If you going outside of that way, that's filthy communication, man. Yep. You know, simple and plain.
If you don't know what color the Lord is, that's the communication coming out of your mouth. You know what I'm saying? The white man can make it, Esau is Japhet, all those, that's filthy communication. You know what I'm saying? The F word, the S word, the B word. I mean, we can refrain from using some of those words just for truth's sake. You know what I'm saying? I tone it down for truth's sake, but I'm not going to tone it down for no demon. Right. You see? You got to understand what you're dealing with. Yeah. You know?
I had a precept, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, go.
Real quick. James chapter 1, verse 19. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath, for the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of the Most High. So you may be, I'm not even gonna say overzealous, because you can be zealous, but you can be, over emotional and let your emotions cloud your judgment, and that is not profitable for the work of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? You have to be have a balanced mindset in order to properly judge and discern the situation, especially on highways and byways. Like you were doing.
Yep. It's like when Peter cut off the ear of Malchus.
Read that again, Proverbs. Read that again,
James chapter 1, verse 19. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of the Most High.
Man, that's what I'm saying. That's a perfect scripture to go into when we say you can't be emotional.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You can feel, that's what I'm saying. You can get mad, you can get pissed, you can be sad, you can cry. You can do all those things. But when it comes to the truth of this Bible, that's when your emotions don't matter.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And that's the difference between a man of the Lord and anybody else. Yeah, you can feel a certain type of way. That's what I'm saying. I'll be mad as hell. I'll be mad as hell if a nigga snatched up my daughter and showed up with 50 shekels. But that's the law. That's the law. You can be mad. I can be pissed off. You know what I'm saying? But am I going to be pissed off to where I'm going to take the 50 shekels and then kill the dude? You just take the 50 shekels and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? You can want to kill him all you want. But now you're going out, so now you need to be judged.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I got to read something real quick just to back up what I now read. This is Proverbs 16:32. It says, he that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit, and he that taketh the city. So basically what we've been going into is just ruling your spirit.
Yep.
You know?
How shall I rule his spirit? You know what I'm saying? Them people was lying on him and doing all that type of stuff. When your house shot was on trial, just imagine if that was one of us. You know what I'm saying? When Pontius Pilate said what he said, thou sayest. You know what I'm saying, bro? I can't imagine if I would have been up there and it was me and Barabbas, and they said free Barabbas. I would have lost my shit. Free Barabbas. Here it is. That's what I'm saying. Here it is. The Lord is coming. The Lord is coming to deliver the elect of the nation of Israel and eventually the whole nation. And y'all gonna free Barabbas right in front of him? That had to be. That's like swallowing a fucking building, bro. But he mortified his members, man. You know what I'm saying? What happened with Adam, he had to mortify those members. What happened with Solomon, he had to mortify those members. So when it came time to the judgment, quiet as a lamb. Members mortified, mission complete. Prime example, perfect example. You know what I'm saying? You think that's easy? Reading about it is hard. Imagine being him in that situation. But he mortified his members anyway. So we ain't got no excuse. You know what I'm saying? Man. What you gonna do? You see?
Yep. That's the spirit of that wisdom, you know what I'm saying? Like wisdom and knowledge shall be stability at that time. Look for magistrates, like the scriptures talk about, and hire up rulers. You're gonna have to know how to control our emotions and be in the right spirit, just like your house shop. Sometimes your house shop, he may just gave one line, as you say, you know. And he was falsely accusing him, completely innocent, but he could have just bugged out, came in the spirit of wrath, and just jeopardized the whole will that the Most High set up for him to do.
Yep.
You know, but he held his spirit, you know. So we got to be in that likeness of mind as well, you know.
He was glorified. He is glorified.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We glorify him to this day.
Right.
Here it is, 2,000 years later, we still willing to die. So we mortifying our members too.
I'm going to read this one here, Shout Choir. This is Proverbs 17:27. It says, he that hath knowledge spareth his words, and a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit. It says, even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise. And he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. That gotta mean something to you. A lot of people read that and go right on back to whatever the hell they was doing that means something to us. You know what I'm saying? We know that this is possible. We know that deliverance and salvation and redemption is possible. Everybody else just winging it.
Yep. Yep. Because even, I know personal testimony, me myself, young in the faith, like your family, you trying to basically get everyone to understand and see the scriptures and the true doctrine, the way that you see it.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna come in the spirit of just wrath and malice and just completely not ruling your spirit. Being over emotional, you see some, we ain't supposed to be eating this and that. But once you come to an experience level, to a higher level of discernment of understanding, you know how to refrain from speaking sometimes. You'll just see something and you just wink at it. All right, it is what it is,
Turn on the cheek.
So that's the spirit of Yahweh Shah that's going to have to be in us more and more as we present it amongst harder situations where you just going to be wanting to act and do certain things, even when they falsely accuse us. Like, brothers, we ain't no fucking rapists, man. Yeah. But if somebody is several hands pointing at you, like, hey, he a rapist, you're going to feel some type of way. Mm-hmm. So in those situations, that's all these things that we're practicing now, our spirit going to have to be involved. Mm-hmm. In those situations, right? But let's go back to Colossians 3 and 9.
This Colossians chapter 3 verse 9, it says, "Lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds."
As he said, old little nigga, man. You gotta try to at all costs, man. You gotta try to just keep the stranglehold on that dude, man. Lie not one to another, seeing you have put off the old man. So that's what we're trying to perfect, putting off the old man more and more day for day. That's part of dying, being dead to this world, and risen and alive in Yahweh Shah. Mm-hmm. We're new men. Kadashayash. New men. Matter of fact, read 10, and then we're going to read verse 10.
Colossians chapter 3 verse 10 says, "And ye have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge, after the image of him that created him."
Right, so we're not saying like we're new men, we got the same flesh we live in. Like from the time we came out of the world before we got this understanding, we're still dealing with the constraints of this flesh, right. But we're renewed in the spirit of our mind. Matter of fact, if somebody could get St. John chapter 3. This account real quick. Somebody can also hold Romans 12 chapter verse 2.
You got John?
I got you. Oh, please.
Where'd you want in John?
St. John chapter 3. The account with Nicodemus. Matter of fact, just start at the top and read.
Okay.
This 1 through 7.
This John 1, chapter 3, verse 1. There was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. The same came to Yahushua by night and said unto him, Rabbi, we know that thou art a teacher come from Yahweh, for no man can do these miracles that thou doest except Yahweh be with him.
So this is Nicodemus, like it says, he was a Pharisee, which a Pharisee is a doctor or an expert in the law. So contrary to popular belief, all Pharisees are not wicked, even though they get that connotation, because there was a lot of wicked Pharisees and Sadducees and sects of Israel that was going on against Yahushua and his followers. But in this particular example, Yahushua was dealing with a Pharisee, Nicodemus. Go ahead.
It says, Yahushua answered and said to them, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of Yahweh.
That's right. And like I was saying, like we started off in Colossians, being made dead to this world and living in Yahushua. This is also talking about being born again. Because you got a lot of fake born againers in America, man. Mm-hmm. Especially these women, man. Now, y'all born again Christian. Man. But they still doing the same things. Steady thotting and bopping and hopping, whatever you want to call it, plotting. They doing the same bullshit that they did before they so-called gave their life to Jesus. Mm-hmm. So, right here, Yahushua is about to break down to Nicodemus. I'm talking about an expert in the law, what being born again really means. So, we've been talking about mortifying our members. This is all processes of being born again, being made new men. Even though we're in the same filthy ass flesh, being renewed in our mind, being born again in our spirit. Like people would like to say, y'all in a cult. I heard people say you brainwashed. Well, guess what? We are. Because that's one of the things of really getting closer to Yahweh, receiving the fullness of His knowledge. You have to completely get rid of all that shit that you know, all that pollution that you learned in the Word. You really have to wash your mind and just start all over. Even if you try to add elements of the truth and try to mix it with some things you learned in church, it's not gonna work. A little leaven leavens the whole lump.
Yep.
So you gotta completely be washed. You gotta be completely washed with the renewing of your mind by the Word, like the Scripture says. But we're gonna go into born again because I'm talking about an expert in the law. He didn't get it, but that shows he wasn't being spiritual. He was being simple. Go ahead, Simon.
Con, this is verse 4. It says, Nicodemus said to him, how can a man be born when he is old? Can he enter the second time into his mother's womb and be born?
So he's being hella simple right now. So he says, how can a man that's old be born? Can he enter into his mother's womb a second time? Like, come on, bro. But Yahushua gonna deal with it. Go ahead.
Verse 5, Yahushua answered, verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of Yahweh.
That's right. So, verily, verily means truthfully, truthfully. I say unto thee, a new man can't be born, except a man be born of water and the Spirit. He cannot enter into the kingdom of heaven. So, brainwashed. You have to be brainwashed. Hey, it is what it is, man. You can tag Great Little Stone what you want to tag. That's what folks, to really come in the Spirit of Yahushua, to be a real born again, so-called Christian, to be a new man that can die out, you have to be brainwashed, man. And the thing that washes you is the Word. Now you know what to do. You know the expectations. You know what's right and what's wrong. You know?
I say, even when you look at it in the carnal aspect, when somebody gets baptized, that's what I'm saying. When they dip you, what do they dip? They dip your head. Brainwash. Because, they'll come up, in a carnal sense, they'll come up thinking that they're a new person. You see what I'm saying? They take you and dip your head, they wash your brain, and when you come up, you renew. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happens spiritually. Your brain has been washed. Listen, what is it? How can a man cleanse his own way? Man's goings on the Lord, all that's happening. Man's goings on the Lord ain't happening in your feet. Man's goings on the Lord ain't happening in your stomach. You know what I'm saying? If the Lord is worried about your gut, He gonna put it on your mind to do something about that shit. Okay? Brainwashed. Deal with it. Who's brainwashing? Is Satan brainwashing you? Or is Yahushua brainwashing you? Because it matters. You know what I'm saying? Brainwash ain't such a bad term. In righteousness.
Yeah, because we had nothing but filth and pollution from this world, man. And the ways of this world is the ways of Satan, because Satan, he controls this current world, man. So that's a beautiful thing that we've been brainwashed, man, to just get rid of all that filth, bacon, BET movies, McDonald's.
The brother Yagadal did a video.
Yeah.
Probably last week or the week before called "Thank You." Yes, we have been brainwashed. You know what I'm saying? So that's the spirit, man. You just gotta understand. As I said, you gotta understand what these words mean, man.
Exactly.
Your brain needs to be white. You think the white man can make it? The self-proclaimed white man. That's what I'm saying. If you're looking for him to be your moral compass, you need to be brainwashed.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You need to fall and bump your damn head. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Some people need to bump their goddamn head. You know?
I got that.
Go ahead.
Psalms 51:10. Create in me a clean heart, O power, and renew a right spirit within. A heart.
That's what I'm saying. Did David get a new body before he was forgiven?
No.
He just had to deal with it. That's what I'm saying. He had to repent, he had to fast, and he had to move on. Mortify your members. That's what I'm saying. Did David ever get popped for adultery again? Did he number Israel again? Did he murder a brother again? Members mortified. These things were written aforetime for our learning, right? You see? Yeah, you're going to go off in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? But don't keep on doing it.
Right.
You're going to offend less and less and less the more you mortify, like the priest going is.
Yep. Proverbs 20:13 says, "He that covereth his sin shall not prosper,
But whoso confesseth and forsaketh them shall have mercy. See, so it's more about, you know, when you confess your transgressions, you know, confess them to Yahweh, you know, he already knows what you've done. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, it says confess it and forsake it. You know, so it's a two-way street. You know, if you confess your transgressions, see how about you gotta try your best to forsake this. Whereas you're not just, you know, getting hit by the same death.
Exactly. That's all the part of that renewal process of being a new man. Like he just read. What was the last part of that scripture you read, Kawan? So it was something I want to pull off of that. Yeah, that last part. Just read it again. Watch the shot.
Was it 10? That's when I read it.
Yeah, just read it again real quick.
It says, create in me a clean heart, O power, and renew a right spirit within me.
That's right, and renew a right spirit within you. So that's talking about being brainwashed. Having the pollution and the filth washed out of your mind and having that filled with this word, man. Being a renewed spirit. That's being a new man because we still the same flesh that we was in the world, but we just have a renewed sense of mind. Is it what verse you in?
Verse 5.
Yeah, just read through 7.
Actually, I'm in verse 4.
Okay.
I'll start at verse 5. Yahweh shall answer verily and said, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of Yahweh. That which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the Spirit is spirit. Marvel not that I said unto thee, ye must be born again. The wind bloweth where it listeth.
That's it on that. Yeah, because that which is born of the flesh is flesh. So we all came to this flesh and these bodies. We can't get rid of these bodies. We can't get new bodies, but our spirit can be renewed. Our spirit can be changed. That's why we've been brainwashed, like you just said, man. You know? So now we're born into the spirit at the same time. By us being renewed in the state of mind. You know? You got a precept? Yeah. Go ahead. I got no vacation now. Times of goodness. Itchy trigger fingers. I already knew it was going to be a point in time. We almost do the lesson, though. Somebody hold Romans 12:2. I want to definitely get that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is on 2nd Ezra 13, sorry, 2nd Ezra 14:14. Let go from these mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature.
Ooh, it say put off now the weak nature because really the nature of this flesh is carnality. That's the weak nature. The spirit always prevails over this flesh. It's always the strength. That's what the strength. That's what we live through the spirit. Because we already, like we've been reading, this flesh is already dead. Why? Because it's engrafted in sin. You know? Put off the weak nature. That's going into mortifying rivers like we've been going into. Just at all costs, man. If it's an occasion to sin, you gotta really just cut that shit off, man.
Right.
We went into that earlier too. Like it don't actually mean that you gotta plug your eye out. But if it's something that's causing you to go off, man, just stop doing it, man.
Everybody be walking around, man. That's what I'm saying. And then think about it like this. Think about it like this. If that was literal, that means you probably had to chop your rod off.
Yeah.
How many times have your rod sent you in the wrong direction?
Yeah.
So that's gotta be spiritual. Lord, please let that be spiritual. You see, but you know, you don't do that. You don't. Come on, man. It'll be plenty of motherfuckers walking around here with no hands, no feet, one eye, no teeth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Cause shit, if you going off about what you eat, what you gonna do? Knock out your teeth out? That's what I'm saying. Come on, bro. You gonna be eating pork smoothies? You gonna be drinking pork? No, nigga. Stop eating it. Shit.
Go to 15. It says, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy to thee, and has thee to flee from these times.
That's what I'm saying. How do you do that? The scriptures, man. The scriptures is your best. Somebody get 1 Maccabees 12:9 real quick.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Because Jacob tried to use anything to comfort themselves. You know what I'm saying? Jacob throw the Bible to the side to go get comfort from somewhere else. And wonder why it don't work. You know?
All right, First Maccabees chapter 12, verse 9, it says, therefore we also, albeit we need none of these things.
And so many things can fall in that category. We don't need this, we don't need that. Go ahead.
For that we have the holy books of Scripture in our hands to comfort us.
To do what?
To comfort us.
To do what?
To comfort us.
That's what I'm saying. So you ain't gonna find it nowhere else. You know what I'm saying? The only backup plan you got other than the scriptures is the Akim. And what they gonna bring? Scriptures. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. You could be in a jacked up mood, man. You know what I'm saying? You have a drink. You know what I'm saying? You still got that issue.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You just drunk with that issue. Get into the scriptures, that shit gonna go away. It ain't never failed us before. It never failed us before. You know what I'm saying? Look at all the other stuff you done cut off already. That's what I'm saying. Look at your own track record. Okay, I used to do this, I don't do that no more. I used to do this, I don't do that no more. Okay, so why is this shit impossible? Why is Thursday impossible? When you've been doing this for years now. Revert back to this, not that. You know what I'm saying? That little nigga gonna get you fucked up.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't no little niggas in here. You know? This is how you get rid of that little nigga. What it say? Resist the devil and he shall flee. That little nigga is Satan. Satan used to dwell in us, man. Still got the green light to get in. But we got to lock the door with this. Can somebody get in your house and your door's locked?
Not easily.
Matthew 12 say he coming back to see what's up. If the door locked, the bitch gotta go. Men was mortified. I ain't say it was easy. Didn't nowhere in that diatribe did I say it was easy. But I did say you gotta do it. Because the scripture say we gotta do it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? If you can't stop smoking blunts, nigga, don't be in the damn headshot. You know what I'm saying? Don't put yourself in that position. When you get into these scriptures, man, you learn how to do all types of stuff, man. Brothers becoming physicians. You know what I'm saying? Brothers learn how to heal. Brothers get into the stones. Brothers get into better diets. You gotta mortify your. That's what I'm saying. That's mortified members. That's what I'm saying. If you don't went from a nigga that'll eat anything to now you telling brothers what to eat to make them feel better, to cure them from ailments, that's mortified members, man. And that's happening for all of us, man. You see, mortifying your members works.
That's right. It's all about being kingdom minded. Like you started off in Colossians 3:1, setting your affections on things above. Well, that's the lesson.
I didn't know y'all had that.
Well, this is
That's the topic of the lesson.
we break it down Colossians 3. You just been jumping all around. Matter of fact, was you reading? Was you finished?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Jesus is the elder call for. Oh, you already read.
Yeah, sorry.
What you got? Romans. Then we're gonna come back to Colossians 3. Yeah, that's the lesson, brother. Go ahead. We in like verse, I think 10. Go ahead.
Alright, this is Romans chapter 12. You want me to
Start at 2.
Alright, it says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
That's right, and that's part of seeking the things that are above, not being conformed to this world, not going with the ways of this world, not going with the form of this world, but be what? Renewed by the transferring of your mind, or be transformed. Read it again, Bible
It says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Continue.
Read it again, Colossians.
It says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
That's right, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Like we were talking about, you read the account of Gamaliel. You know what I'm saying? He didn't even understand. I'm talking about a Pharisee, an expert in the law. He didn't understand how God told him you have to be born again to enter into the kingdom. Yeah. So, hey, this process talking about the renewing of your mind. Basically, all the filth and the pollution that you gain from the world, you have to let that go and be renewed in the spirit. That's how we're made alive. That's how we're quickened. That's how we're made a quickening spirit. That's how we're able to tap into that sixth sense to mortify the other five senses that cause us to go off like we've been going into. You know? Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna make a point. You know, this is something that I heard. Something I heard was like, you know, if you want to be successful, you know, you pretty much observe the masses and literally do the opposite of what everybody does.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you observe the masses, whatever you see the masses doing, you literally do the exact opposite.
Yep.
And that's typically you typically going in the right direction and doing opposite of what everybody else.
Yeah.
That's how we got through school, me and Ariana, man. That's what we observed. Okay. Everybody, if they all going to the party, we ain't going. Oh, they all dating? We ain't dating. Everybody sitting over there, we're gonna sit over here. We just did the opposite of what everybody else did. You know?
Yeah, that's what success.
And school's a breeze.
Successful people too.
Yeah.
All of us do the opposite of the mess. You know.
Because you're not dealing with the distractions of their carnality, man. You know?
Good point. But hey, that makes the point even heavier. Like we've been talking about being dead to this world. We in complete opposition against this world.
Mm-hmm.
We completely forsaken this world. But at the same time, that's how we are alive in Yahweh Shah. That's how we're alive in the spirit by forsaking this world. But we're on the right track, even though it doesn't seem as such right now. We're doing the right thing, brothers. Just keep on doing it. Right. You know, it's a constant battle because sometimes it may seem like the majority of what they're doing, they having hella fun.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got to check yourself. You know?
I'm gonna say that's true. How you say that's how y'all got through college.
Mm-hmm.
All the people who y'all was watching party and you was watching the bitches flunk.
Mm-hmm.
I was say you see him get that test score, be like, see them shoulders sink.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You over there like,
That's right. I got tutor class at $20 an hour.
you know.
You know? Yeah. They spend all their time partying and bullshitting and you know.
All right, this is Ephesians chapter 2. So it's not done.
Go ahead.
It says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind,
Do the opposite.
that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh.
That's right. That means we're doing the right thing. We're doing the will of the Lord. By forsaking this world, going against the grain of this world, that pleases the Heavenly Father, man. You know, that's success. Like, that was an excellent analogy, man. You know, because the scriptures also says in Matthew the 7th chapter, broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, but narrow is the way that leadeth to life, and what? Few men find it.
Do the opposite.
So fuck what these people doing, man.
Right.
The scriptures also says, don't follow a multitude to do evil.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of these people, man, they're headed to complete destruction, man. So we're trying to not taste in that. That's why we're going through that process of taking the Lord on this side, man. Storing up our spiritual bank accounts, man. Doing these lessons. Breaking bread with brothers. Going out on the highways and byways teaching. You know what I'm saying? Mortifying our members, man. Because we don't want to take a part in that massacre that's coming when Yahweh Shai. Lord, Isaiah 66 and 15. The Lord shall plead with all flesh. We're not trying to get caught up in that, man. Where everybody's having a good time, laughing, marrying, giving into marriage. Hey, we trying to be those 8 souls, those elect souls that were saved like during the time of Noah, you know?
I said when everybody else was partying and BS and Noah was building the ark.
It was working.
You know what I'm saying? We building the ark.
That's right.
We're doing the exact opposite of whatever.
Exactly. This is all good information. That's it on that. Go ahead.
Quick reset. Ephesians 4, I'm sorry, at verse 21, it says, if so be that ye have heard him and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Yahweh Shai, that ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that ye put on the new man, which after Yahweh is created in righteousness and true holiness.
That's how we're justified too. As long as we're speaking according to the words of the Heavenly Father through His Son Yahweh Shai, we're completely justified. We're blameless in the sight of the Most High. We're those virgins, right? Because why? Not because of our flesh has changed, it's because we're renewed in the spirit, we're renewed in our mind. You know what I'm saying? But in order to perfect that renewal process, you got to constantly put off that old dude, man. Because we're in the flesh. That's why Paul, he always got a reference, Romans the 7th chapter. He understood it to the fullest, like that contention between the new man that you're trying to live through Yahweh Shai in, and then those old tendencies, that old man, you know, that's the process we trying to perfect, or at least the best that we can until Yahweh Shai saves us out of here, you know. Is that it to your precept?
Kind of.
Let's go back to Colossians, and we just gonna go ahead and get through it. I want to read through verse 14, and I got like 2 more precepts along the way. Use it with verse 11.
I believe so, yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, Galatians chapter 3, verse 11. Where there is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision nor uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, bond nor free, but Hamashiach is all and in all.
That's right, because brothers, before we came into the knowledge of Yahweh Shai, before we were made alive in the spirit, we was into all different philosophies and bugged out, wayward ways of doing things, thinking, acting, you know what I'm saying? But we know that this is talking about Israelites that came out of all those different varying philosophies and doctrines and being renewed in the knowledge of Yahweh Shai. You know what I'm saying? That's who Yahweh Shai is for. You know, it's not actually talking about a literal Greek or circumcision, uncircumcision. It's just talking about the Israelites who were Hellenists, because that's what Greek goes into when you go into the New Testament. It's talking about the Hellenist Jews. It says on Jew, circumcision or uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian. But Hamashiach is all in and all, meaning all those who are in that renewed mindset, who put off the old man, who mortified their members through the spirit, from whatever form of conversation that they were a part of. Like you just read, in conversation, when you go in, I know in 2 Peter, it's talking about your strophe, like your conduct, whatever conduct that you was in before your mind was filled with this truth. You know what I'm saying? That's where Yahweh Shai is taking place. Go ahead.
All right, verse 12. Put on, therefore, as the elect of the Most High, holy and beloved, bowels of mercies.
Hey, and this is really going into the house of David. It says, put on, therefore, as the elect. So really, you got to walk in the spirit of being the elect, man. The scriptures already give you qualifications of what the elect man would be doing. Like we've been talking about, they would be doing the complete opposite as the majority of the people in this world, right? And it says, as the elect, holy and beloved, out the watch, house of David. You know what I'm saying? Because we're hoping to ultimately receive those tender mercies that David received. Even though, you know, in our former conversation, when we was in the world, we was engulfed in all types of perverseness and wickedness. Forever, brother, you know, according to whatever their spirit was. But now we have access to mercy, man, as being the elect, which the elect, they were predestined from the foundation of the earth. It tells you that in Ephesians 2nd chapter, I believe. You know? So we're hoping we fulfill this lot. Go ahead.
It says, continuing in verse 12, it says, bowels of mercies, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long suffering.
Yeah, humbleness of mind, because Yahweh Shai, he said he wanted his disciples to receive the word as a childlike mind. Why? Because a child is impressionable. You know, he's just gonna follow instruction.
Right.
A child not gonna buck up. A child is willing to be guided. And how much more so in the spirit of righteousness through Yahweh Shai. That's the mind that we should be in. Philippians 2, let this mind be in you. That was also in Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. You know, being able to receive the word, the engrafted word, but then also being willing to what? To be obedient.
Mm-hmm.
You know? That's the key thing.
When a child gets in trouble, gets whooping, gets chastised, you know what I'm saying? They cry and all that, but then what, 5 minutes later, they love you again. You know, versus when you chastise a grown man, he'll hold a grudge. You know, with children, you whoop them, tell them why they did, tell them why you whooped them, then they cool after that. They back playing, and so that's why, again, it's a brother. That's why God had a mind of being like a child.
That's right. That's why the scriptures also said you don't put new wine into an old bottle. That's the break. That's why, like a lot of like older spirits, now it's exceptions to everything, but the Lord is mostly dealing with younger men who are impressionable, who can come into that humble, childlike mind to receive His word in all readiness and obedience. Because an older man who maybe be set in his ways, That's what exactly what it is. He already set in his ways. He already got to come back. He think his ways is better. I've been doing it this way for all these years. What's this? You know what I'm saying? The Lord ain't dealing with that. You're just an old nigga, man. Just like during the time when the Exodus out of Egypt, the Lord had to just put to death that wicked old ass generation. Man. Not dealing with that, man. They weren't coming in the humbleness of mind.
So you made a comment earlier about fake born againers. You know what I'm saying? People who say that they've been born again, but they haven't. But just like y'all was going into with a child, they say in the world that the most impressionable years for a child learning wise is from the time they're born until they're 7 years old. You know what I'm saying? So if you reborn, if you born again, that 7 years starts over. You see what I'm saying? So when you get on a younger brother, you know what I'm saying? That's one thing I can say about this camp. We don't have younger brothers that fuck up. You know what I'm saying? We can tell a young brother something according to the scriptures, and then they receive it. You know what I'm saying? Now, we have had brothers that fuck up and they had to get out. You know what I'm saying? The Spirit moved them out. But the thing is, when you born again, just like the brother said, babies and infants, they don't buck up. They receive the instruction. You know what I'm saying? And being born again, I don't give a fuck if you're 95 when you're born again. You started from zero. Who the fuck was born 20 years old? I ain't never seen no grown man fly cooch. It's a baby. You born again through the Spirit. So you can't come in here with all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Actually, being born again is a blessing. Because all that other stuff was washed away. Your brain has been washed at this point. You see? And when you clean the slate, then you build that brain up. You see? And that's what the Lord was telling Nicodemus. No, man, I'm not going to shove you back up in your mama's snatch. Why would I do that? First of all, it's gross.
When has that ever been done?
When has it ever been done? So obviously, I'm talking about something else. You see? And you can tell a baby that, hey, this is what I'm talking about, this is this. But that's what I'm saying. If you tell a grown man, it's gonna be something completely different. You know, you have to be reborn. It ain't gonna work otherwise.
That's right. Because if you have a cup and it's full of dirty water, you know, and you have a cup that's full of dirty water and you have water on it, you just put water in the cup. You know, dirty water is eventually gonna go out the cup. It's gonna keep going to the top. It's gonna keep going down. And eventually,
Cup of dirty ass water.
that cup eventually is gonna be that. Eventually, that water is gonna be cleaner. Yeah. Or you know, now, of course, it's not like everything that you thought about in your mind while you was in the world. You know, the thought of certain things isn't just gonna 100% disappear. You know, but eventually, if you keep feeding your mind with the right things, and you keep feeding it and putting that clean water into the cup, eventually that dirty cup is going to eventually become clean. You know what I mean? It's just the fact of how, like saying, older people were people stuck in their ways. You know, they don't want to adapt to change because they feel like what they know is it, and you can't tell them. You can't tell them shit. It's solid, you know. They got a solid mind. You know that mind. They got a hard-headed mind. It's stiff, and a child doesn't have hard. Well, a child is hard-headed, but it's malleable.
Yeah, it's malleable. You can shape it.
No.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Let's go back to Colossians 3. We just gonna end out before verse 14. That's as far as I want to go. Verse 13.
Colossians chapter 3, verse 13. Forbearing one another, and forgiving one another, if any man have a quarrel against any, even as Hamashiach forgave you, so also do ye.
That's what a man that has a renewed sense of mind is going to do. You know what I'm saying? Because when these niggas in the world holding grudges, I'm talking about you, it's on site of $20, you know? Just stupid shit, man.
Second on shoes.
Yeah, just being a hoe. Like we say, hoe ass niggas, man. Quarreling over nothing. Jake getting into it over a basketball disagreement or dominoes. Yeah, just over hoes. You name it, man. But in this truth, man, we have a renewed sense of mind. We look at our brother and we see that I was shy in our brother.
So we willing to give our brother the benefit of the doubt, knowing that just like you need forgiveness, you're gonna have to forgive your brother if he transgressed against you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You got something?
Yeah, I got some. This is the book of Philemon, verse 15. It says, for perhaps he therefore departed for a season, that thou shouldst receive him forever. It says, not now as a servant, but above a servant, a brother beloved, especially to me, but how much more unto thee, both in the flesh and in the Lord. If thou count me therefore a partner, receive him as myself. So this is Paul writing to Philemon about
Onesimus.
Yeah. This is him telling him pretty much like, look, because he was Philemon's servant at the point in time. He ran away when you read the story and came back. And Paul was like, he's a new man, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it says, if thou count me therefore a partner, receive him as myself. So he's like, look, if you count me as your boy, receive him as you receiving me, right? Then he said, if he wronged thee or oweth thee aught, put that on my account.
What kind of saying I vouch for him, basically?
Yeah, he's like, man, look, if he did any wrong to you, if he owe you any kind of money, if he owe you anything, man, look, put that on my tab. But I guarantee you that this man here, I guarantee that he's a new man.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But that's how we got to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how we got to have that mindset of, taking the low for your brother, man.
Yeah, that's what forbearing means. Basically, putting your brother's needs above yours. It talks about it in Philippians, I believe, the second chapter as well. You know what I'm saying? Looking on to things of others. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying you had plenty of situations with us dealing in, you know what I'm saying, camps all over the world where brothers done had to leave and then come back. You know what I'm saying? So, look, man. That's what I say, man. And that's why when you do have to suspend the brother or whatever, you let him know, bro. Don't let this be the end of your walk, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is a part of your walk, but if it's gonna be the end of your walk, you know what I'm saying? You gotta put that out there. You know what I'm saying? Because Jacob be like, well, first of all, suspended ain't done. Okay? When you get suspended from school, there's a difference between suspended and expelled. Right? Suspension, you get to come back. You just gotta make sure you're in the right mind when you come. You gotta make sure the members is mortified when you come back. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean you through. But if you are, it's gonna show. You know what I'm saying? But just like that's what I'm saying. Paul didn't pass the demons. You know what I'm saying? Paul delivered men up to Satan. But then all of a sudden he vouching for somebody right here. Both sides of the spectrum, man. It's balance in there, man. You see, shit. There was some people when they left Paul didn't give a shit about it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Paul and Barnabas split. You see? Cuss Peter out.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what the situation called for. You know what I'm saying? So,
coming out of this world, that's a foreign thing to this world. They'll look at Drake Millstone, for example, like say we naive just because of a brother on his ass. Like we've been examples and testimonies of brothers getting help, they take down, they need their car fixed, they need to pay rent or something. And that's foreign to this world, but that's how we protect each other, man. We forbear. It says forbear one another. We basically put our brothers' needs above our own sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And that's not something you taught in this world. In this world, you talk. I'm gonna get mine. Get yours. Get yours.
I'm gonna do me.
I'm gonna do me.
That's what Yahweh did though. He put his brothers' lives in perspective. He pretty much looked at their perspective before his own. Yahweh, it tells you that in Philippians 2nd chapter 2. You know, he's like he's paraphrasing. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like he could have just got the kingdom for himself and been chilling, but he came down in the flesh to do this. Ultimately, it was prophesied, but he did this because he wanted to get his brothers, man,
and be an example to us too of how we should be.
Exactly.
This is renewing. That's just how we be a new man. That's how we practice being a new man amongst other men who are trying to walk that same way. Because we look at each other, we all trying to walk in the likeness of our new character, man, trying to constantly put off our old character. Right. So we really should supposed to be helping each other put away those old things more and more.
Galatians 6:1. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness. Considering thyself, these shall also be tempted. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Yahushua. That's right. Back here, but what he said, we help each other out to get to this walk. So going back to the first verse, if someone don't take no fault or make a mistake, you gotta be spiritual and restore one another. Treat your brother as yourself. Have mercy. As we're supposed to show. And then going back to verse 2, bear each one of the burdens, and so fulfill the law of Yahushua. So going back to forbearing one another, taking a load, helping each other out, putting ourselves second, to help our brother out, as Yahushua did. Yahushua put himself second for the nation of Israel. He could have been chilling. He had spiritual power, but he took a beating. The worst beating known to man, more than any other man, for the elect's sake. You didn't have to do that. So we have to, like the scripture says, let this mind be in you, which is in Yahushua. It was the same thing, That's right.
Philippians 2, I'm gonna read verse 1 through verse 5 just to get the point. It says, if there be therefore any consolation or encouragement in Yahushua, if any comfort of love, if any fellowship of the Spirit, if any vows and mercies, fulfill ye my joy, that ye be like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord, of one mind. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves.
That's right. That's talking about forbearing one another. Each of us esteem the other better than yourself, man. It's just coming in a lot of humility, like Yahushua. That's why it was symbolic when we watched his disciples' feet. Right? Because he was the head of them, but he was still just showing an example of being the greatest servant as well.
It tells you in the book of Luke, it tells you to whom much is given, much is required. Verse 4 says, look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. Let this mind, so when you read verse 1 through 4, it's giving you all the pretty much the credentials of what Yahushua's mind was. Right? So verse 4, it is, right? Verse 5, it says, let this mind be in you, which was also in Hamashiach Yahushua.
That's right, that renewed state of mind. That's how we are alive in Yahushua. We have to stay renewed in that spirit of Yahushua, having that likeness of mind of Yahushua, taking the Lord, being your brother's keeper, being your brother, being charitable, constantly putting off those old dark deeds, man. In that spirit of perfection, even though Yahushua is the only one who actually walked the will of the Heavenly Father in perfection, we're trying to do it to the best of our ability.
Hey, Yahushua said it himself. He said, be ye perfect as my Father is in heaven.
That's right.
Now, does that mean that we're going to walk perfectly? No, but we got to strive for the mastery. We got to strive. We have to strive for perfection at the end of the day. It's not like, Yahushua gave us his liberty to just, oh yeah, we got liberty, we got grace, and,
we just wait till Yahushua get back.
You do good, but then again, it's like you just be fucking off, and it's just like, oh, well, be in the flesh, bro. If we are in the flesh, it's like you're not even attempting to try to strive for perfection.
Yeah, I say, Jake, it is what it is, bro. I hate that phrase, man. I mean, sometimes it can be used in a
Jake overused.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Jake can use it as a crutch. Yeah, they can use it. It is what it is, bro. We cursed.
Curses are.
Okay, if that's how you feel, man. Hey, do what you do, man. But as for us in this house, you know what I'm saying? We rolling with the Lord, baby.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's finish out 14 in Colossians 3rd chapter.
Colossians chapter 3.
And somebody can hold, this is the last one I had, 1 Corinthians 13:2.
Colossians chapter 3, verse 14. Colossians 3 and 14. It says, and above all these things put on charity, which is the bond of perfectness.
So he just went into all these different things of how you see things above and not things below. You went into all of these characteristics and qualifications, but at the end it says, and above all these, put on charity, which is the bond, which is another word for bond. It's like a glue, something that holds something together. It says, which is the bond of perfectness. Because that's what we strive for. Like the preacher said, we gotta strive for perfection. Just because Yahushua, he's already conquered death. There ain't no excuse to just be like, we in this flesh, man. We under these curses. You might as well just wait for your house shot, man. It is what it is.
Your house already conquered that. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm Gucci.
No.
I'm already saying.
It says, above all these things, put on charity, which is the bond of perfectness. So we are supposed to strive for the masteries in Yahusha. Because the charity, at the end of the day, the charity which is above all things, which was it said, what did Yahusha say? He says, serve Yahweh with all your mind, soul, and spirit. If we paraphrase, and he said, love your neighbor as yourself. If you do these two things, you fulfill the law in itself. And if you fulfill the law, and he did both those things. And if you fulfill the law, that makes you perfect, right?
Exactly.
Those are the two things he said that we need to do. But it said charity.
Yep.
Which is loving your brother. If you have sincere charity amongst the Akim men, and it's sincere, bro, that's above prophesying. That's above faith. Because that's what's building. Because we're building the house of David. That's what's going to lead unto that salvation, us being glorified with Yahushua. We got to keep building until Yahushua comes back. But the scriptures also said charity edify. Right. Edify means to what? To build. It's a build-up process, man.
Yep.
Go ahead.
1 Corinthians 13 and 2, you said?
Kind of, that's the one I want to end out unless other brothers have precepts.
No, if I saw that verse.
Yeah. 1 Corinthians 13 and 1. Man, this whole chapter go hard. 1 Corinthians 13, verse 1, it says, though I speak with the tongues of men and of the angels, and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. Pretty much making noise, right?
Yeah, because you could be doing certain things or abstaining from certain things, like you keep the dietary laws, you keep the Sabbath or whatever. As far as we can keep
Eloquent speaker.
You're an eloquent speaker. You study the scriptures, but hey, you ain't trying to break bread. You ain't really trying to build. You don't have charity, so to speak. Guess what?
It says, I am become a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. Verse 2, it says, and though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I can remove mountains.
So you full of faith.
You in there, like
you believe in the Lord, like you got it. Like, man, hey, I believe in this thing, and certain things you're doing, it shows that you got that faith. You got the spirit to prophesy. You know what I'm saying? You understand the scriptures. You got all the breakdowns. Go ahead.
It says, so that I can remove mountains and have not charity. Just one thing, I am nothing.
Nothing. Man, that sounds so familiar. Nothing.
And that does sound familiar too. For brothers in here that's old enough to receive it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know him personally, but I know.
Yeah.
It ain't just him.
Not him, but
No. We've had that several times. Growing up in this thing, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do me, that long star spirit, lone wolf. Yeah, you doing the videos, you know what I'm saying? You're doing the work, you studying the scriptures and all that, but that's what I'm saying, you ain't plugged into the source. You doing all that, but you don't give a shit about the brotherhood. You don't want to be around, you holding grudges, all these different things, man, because the members haven't been mortified like the priest been going into this whole time, man. This is gonna make you mortify your members, man. You see? You can have certain things. I would say you got brothers that can quote scriptures, you hold this, you hold that, dude behind them, you know what I'm saying? Precepts coming from everywhere. Ain't utilizing none of them in daily life. You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference between who gonna get delivered and who gonna get destroyed. Because if you just, I'm gonna say it like this, man. If you got a page full of precepts to cut somebody, rather than a page full of precepts to build yourself up and edify, that's two different things.
Right.
That's two different things. You know what I'm saying? Jake want to have 25 precepts lined up just to cut people.
Who gonna tell these niggas up?
You know what I'm saying? I'm a hard this nigga.
Man, I would have used this precept if I was out there.
You know what I'm saying? But instead of taking that one, instead of taking them two precepts that the brother Tazama just went into, them two precepts cover it all.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get this and hold that and get this and you read this and hold that all you want. You know what I'm saying? But if that little nigga is still ruling,
it don't matter.
You done.
It don't matter.
You done. You know what I'm saying?
That's the bond of perfection. That's the bond of perfection is charity. It ties all of those different attributes that we've been going into, whether it's mortifying your members, forbearing your brother,
this is how we ultimately seek that perfection through Yahweh Shai, you know. On top of all those things, man, charity.
And that's what Paul was telling the church. He was like, look, man, use me as an example. You know what I'm saying? That's what Paul was saying. Use me. Y'all know my history.
I got that hill right now.
That's the spirit.
That's all I had. So closing precepts and we'll
Yeah.
Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah.
That can bring up all those things calling the charity Peter, you know, so as well. 2 Peter 1:5. And beside this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, which is like goodness and morals, and to virtue knowledge, and to knowledge temperance, and to temperance patience, and to patience godliness, and to godliness brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness charity. For if these things be in you and abound, they make you that you shall neither be barren nor unfruitful in the knowledge of our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach.
So it's impossible to be a nigga if you add all that to your arsenal. You know what I'm saying? can't no, that little nigga can't survive all that. You keep heaping those things on top of that little nigga, he gone. You know what I'm saying? Now it's a process. It's a process. You know what I'm saying? But the process is there. You know what I'm saying? We have something tangible, something we can go to be like, okay, this, okay. You know what I'm saying? And when you run across those attributes and you look those words up and see what they actually mean, you're like, okay, I already been doing all this. You know what I'm saying? Now I can do it more, do it to the best of you. But you realize when you run across these words and see what they actually mean, you're like, I'm surrounded by brothers that do this. I don't got no excuse to be a nigga. I don't have to be a nigga. And when you realize you ain't got to be a nigga no more, that's a glorious fucking moment. Because you see what happened to niggas, man. You know what I'm saying? We don't got to worry about being one of the niggas getting shot in the street or Black Lives Matter or none of that shit, man. We're protected from that. Right. Why? Because we mortified the members, man. You had something, Sean? No, you was going to say something. Oh, okay.
You had something? I mean, I had what Elder asked about you looking forward. I was like,
well, if your lesson over with, we might end up doing that lesson later.
Yeah, precept? Real quick. Yeah, go ahead. And that this is willing out on his.
Alright, this is Sirach chapter 37, verse 19. There is one that is wise and teacheth many, and yet is unprofitable to himself.
Read it again. Read that again.
Sirach chapter 37, Sirach chapter 37, verse 19. There is one that is wise and teacheth many, and yet is unprofitable to himself.
We've actually had an example of that happen too, man. That's the spirit. There's one that's wise and teaches me, but is unprofitable to himself. So the Lord, that's how he works. Right. He can use you to build up brothers and then just cast you off to the wayside. So that should make you mindful of how you walk, man. Right. You know?
That's right.
You want to be mindful of how you walk. That's a beautiful scripture, brother. So, with all being said, hopefully this made sense and was edifying. Like I started off saying, the kind of the topic is being alive and risen in Yahweh Shai and being dead to this world and just the things within that process of how we perfect that. So, with all being said, hopefully this made sense and was edifying to the body. We would like to give all praises to
Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Rakak Wadash.
The honesty, apostle, and the elders and great wisdom who taught us this truth. Shalom, peace and blessings to your land. Shalom.